Alright, what's up guys? So this video is me getting this subframe and the steering rack ready to go back in the car and the transmission. I made a big mistake. I just was too close to it. I had a really big blonde moment. I could not get the rack to line up. It was driving me nuts. If I got the tie rods lined up with the old rack, the whole steering assembly would be over here. And if I lined up the old rack at the same spot as this tie rod was longer and that tie rod was shorter. Now there's a couple of you guys that understand exactly what I needed to do as soon as I just said that. But I was just too into it. I needed to get away from it. I was thinking about just editing all that out and just showing you, hey, I got the subframe back together. But I feel like that's kind of just lying to you, and this might help some of you guys not do what I did and sit here and have a hissy fit about it like I did. So it's all in here. You guys can make fun of me. I end up explaining what I had to do to get it to work, and I get the transmission all cleaned up and 100% ready to go back in. The engine is still waiting on parts. Some parts got lost in the mail or something. So that's not here yet, but I am 100% ready for the engine to go back in. Enjoy this video. I'll put a timestamp up. If you guys don't care about the subframe, you guys can just jump right to the transmission. But have fun making fun of me. Hopefully it saves a couple of you guys from making the same mistake I did. We are going to put this back together. I was looking for new bushings. I refuse to pay 40 bucks for this. I just refuse to do it. I don't think mine's that bad. We're gonna check it out though. I mean, if I have to, I guess I have to. It's dumb. Then this is just like a little piece of foam so the metal doesn't scratch up against it. You know, so usually when I replace tie rods, I've never just done an outer tie rod. Cause what is it, another 10 bucks you can get to enter? And I'll usually take off the old ones, set them up exactly the same. You know what I mean? I'll take this whole thing off, and then the new one, I'll put it on there and then set it and make sure they're really close together, the same, and then put it back on the rack. But I can't really do that this time. Alright, I'm pretty sure most of you guys know how to do tie rods, but if you don't, big nut goes on first. After you put the nut on, screw the tie rod on. And then for those of you that don't know, that nut is just to lock these in place. Alright, let's at least get some sort of ballpark measurement on the tie rods. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't really know where I can measure from to make sure it's right, you know what I mean? We'll just go off of that, because that's going to be in the same spot in the car no matter what. So I'll measure off of this to the edge of the ball joint, at least get them somewhat close. At least get them within an inch, you know what I mean? Yeah, we'll just go with a rough 19 right in the middle. Because, I mean, at least it'll be ballpark. We'll just go with a rough 34.5. I just took the tie rods off the old rack. They screw on the normal 3000 GT rack. I don't know what everyone's talking about, saying that the outer tie rods are different. They're not. I don't know what's going on. I'm just having a brain fart or something. Because the tie rods are the same, but I mean, everything's the same size, but it doesn't mean it. I don't know how to explain it. If it's sitting there like this, where they would go in the car, this one's longer, this side's shorter. But if you line them up, if you pretty much line them up, they're exactly the same. It's just it won't fit in the car then. I have no idea. I'm just gonna throw them on and then mess with it once it's in the car. Yeah, I'm really starting to think I'm just having a blonde moment. I don't understand why these won't line up. What is going on? Even if this is, I know they're a different rack, right? This is to the regular 3000 GT, this is to the VR4. Those cars are still the same width. Even if they're different size tie rod ends, they're still the same width. These still have to be the same length. So what the fuck is going on here? What am I not seeing? Yeah, so you sit here and you line this shit up. Here's where that ends. I can feel it in the boot. These are pretty much lined up. Why is this so much fucking shorter? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense, because no matter what car it is, all the Dodge Stealths, all the 3000 GTs are still the same width. The tires still sit in the same spots. So the rack still has to go to the same, I mean, give or take for, you know, alignment. I'm gonna sit here and have an emotional breakdown over tie rods. All right, now that I spent pretty much all day whining and crying, and most of that'll probably be just cut out, put this thing back in. All right, there you go, it's in there. All right, I'm gonna put the sway bar back in. A couple of you guys asked me if I was doing new bushings. I got all new bushings. Like this is new bushing for the sway bar. I did I don't know, a while back. I just put new bushings in. These are all the bushings, all poly bushings for the subframe. So yes, it will have all new bushings. All right, like I said, it's those two brackets for the sway bar back in. It's really easy, I'm not gonna film that. All right, I got the sway bar in there, and yes, I put grease on the bushings. If you don't know, put grease on your bushings. You don't grease your bushings, especially if you do poly bushings. They do nothing but squeak like if your brakes are shot. All right, I'm gonna put the rest of this together. It's the same thing as when I took it apart. All right, there she is. All right, what's up guys? I've just been doing little shit today. That's all ready to go. I'm actually not gonna put the control arms on. I'll put those on after it's in the car. It'll just make it lighter to move around and stuff. I don't think there's anything that needs to, am I missing anything? I'm gonna go and watch a couple of my videos back right before I pulled the engine and right after I pulled the engine, but I'm pretty sure everything's where it needs to be. I know I got the power steering reservoir, but that kind of goes in at the same time. You can't have that in there and then put the engine. I'm pretty sure it like leans over. It just gets in your way. You see it's over there, and then you'll be, that's an inch and a half of room that you won't have. You kind of got to finagle that in as you're putting the engine back in. And then there's like the battery bracket, and that's it. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna put the battery in the trunk. So, and I mean, I got the radiator, but I'd rather put that in after. I got the intercooler pipe, I'd rather put that in after. That's it, man, I'm ready for the engine. So I'm gonna call them and tell them I'm gonna pick that thing up. Oh yeah, real quick. I need those grommets. A piece of rubber that go in there around the brake lines. I don't know what to call them. They're over here. Here's one of them. I guess I could reuse this one. This one's fine. This one's completely ripped to shit. I mean, it'll definitely be better than metal on metal rubbing, but I don't know. Leave down in the comments if you know where I can get this shit. Alright, what's up guys? I'm back out here. This is all done. I honestly don't know how much you've seen of me doing this, because a couple days later, I was talking to my buddy, and I realized how much of an idiot I was. You guys remember when I was flipping out about the inner tie rods not being the same length? I don't even know if that's going to be in here. It might be too embarrassing. And I was just flipping out, because I would line up the tie rods, like the inner tie rods with the old rack, and they would be the same. But then this wasn't in the same spot. And then I'd line this up, and then that tie rod would be longer, and this tie rod would be shorter. I was like losing my mind. I didn't understand what was going on. So right now you can see this one I just have threaded on 3 threads to make them the same length. Like that one's barely on. This one's screwed on all the way as far as it'll go. Right? And they still weren't perfect. They were still out of whack a little bit. All I have to do is turn the wheel, turn the rack. What a fucking idiot. Like, just think about it. Obviously, this is turned to the right. You know what I mean? The whole rack is turned that way. That's why that one's longer. All I gotta do is put vice grips on here and turn this and line it up with the existing one. Well, I mean, it's a little late now to figure it out, because I already took the tie rods off that other one. I could have lined it up, and my alignment wouldn't have been so far out of whack. Now I'm gonna have to do it once it's in the car. But I'm gonna put these tie rods pretty much the same number of threads, turn that so it's lined up evenly, and then I'll hook the steering wheel up, and then from there on out, I'll adjust it with the tie rod length to get it close. So dumb. So dumb. I'm sure there's a couple of you guys just freaking out if I leave that in the video. I can't believe that's how much of a blonde I was, that I didn't think about turning the steering wheel, or turning the rack. Like, what an idiot. So this is pretty much ready. Just sit the engine on it. I can't really find anyone that's willing to rebuild this transmission anywhere close to me. The closest person is about an hour and a half away. It would grind every now and then in third, but I think it was mostly me. It would only grind as I would go in. And I think it was the linkage. So I'm going to get new shift linkage bushings, or cable bushings, whatever you want to call it on this. That bag's on there. I'll show you the little bushings that bolt to the transmission. I'm going to get all new of those. I'm going to get new shifter mounts. Just stiffen everything up. I'm just going to clean this up and put it back in there and see how it is. And if it needs it, I'll take it out and rebuild it later, or I might even just get one that's already rebuilt, because it might be cheaper and easier just to buy one that's freshly rebuilt and shipped to me than drive in 3 hours to have someone rebuild it for the same cost of me buying one that was already rebuilt. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna clean this up today. That's the plan. I talked to the engine builder. I was gonna go today and pick it up, but the ARP head studs still aren't in. They were supposed to be there a few days ago. So I don't know, hopefully they'll be delivered today and I can pick that thing up Monday. It's Friday now. Let me get this transmission out here and let's start cleaning this up, degreasing it and everything. This thing is so filthy, just throwing axle grease everywhere. The thing that sucks is that this isn't waterproof with the drive shafts out of it. It drives me nuts that there's so much fucking oil in here. So that kid that I bought this car from said that this was all new. He did the clutch and the bearings and everything. But I'm still gonna redo it because I'm a freak. Oh yeah, look, I forgot, this can go up. Alright, I don't actually have engine degreaser. I don't have any left. So I'm gonna use some brake cleaner and just start wiping this gunk out of here. I got 3 seconds in it and the rag's already full. I'm gonna have to, I gotta hose this fucking thing off. I don't know what to do. I wonder if I got the old axles. I don't have the old axles. I actually went up there and looked and I remembered that they broke, so I threw them away. I don't know, let me think about it. I'm gonna think if there's something I can jam in there. I guess I can clean real good around there and then duct tape it. Alright, so I've had this rubber plug sitting over here. I honestly don't know where it went to. I think it's like to the bottom of like one of these stools or something. I don't know. But it fits perfect. I cleaned the edges of that. And I didn't realize until just now this thing's been painted too by the people that don't know what the hell they're doing that had this before me. You can see once I cleaned it, all that paint came off. So I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this thing's definitely been painted. But like I said, this rubber cap that like went to the bottom of like a leg of something fits snug in there. Like you gotta force it in there. Look at that, man. That could not have worked any better. I only got one though, so I'm gonna have to clean this side, dry it, and then put the other one in here before I go to the inside. But I like that a lot better than putting tape on there and worrying about shit going around the tape. That's perfect. I have no idea where that came from. I wish I knew, because I'd take the other one. Like, it's like a piece of rubber that like went to the leg of something. Oh, it probably went to the top of the jack. I think that's what it went to. It was the rubber thing that went around this. Alright, let me get the hose in this whole contraption outside. I'm not gonna hose this down with the Huracan in here today. That's definitely not fucking happening. Alright, I'm back. It's only been 2 hours. So I got that rubber cap I showed you. And I ended up finding another one that fits in there. I don't know, my girl got this electric pressure washer. I'm gonna try it. I wanted a gas one, but what do you guys think about purple power and a foam cannon? Think that'll help break some of this shit down? Alright, let's see how this cheap ass pressure washer works. With purple power as a foam cannon. There we go. Alright, shit, I cannot actually take you guys outside a whole bunch. This GoPro is not waterproof right now because the mic's plugged in. So I'll soak it with purple power right here, and then you guys aren't gonna be able to watch me wash it. Alright, that's about as much as you guys are gonna get. This GoPro is getting soaking wet and the covers aren't on it. I'm gonna pressure wash it. I'll bring you back when I start scrubbing it. The pressure washer actually works alright. I mean, it's no diesel, but it works. So I pretty much used brake cleaner and the pressure washer to get all this clean down here. And then I flipped it over and I got a lot more to go. I mean, the brake cleaner and the pressure washer is working good. I'm gonna hit it with a Brillo pad. I can't stand I'm not gonna be able to live with it like this. I don't think I'm gonna paint it, but I at least gotta get like this, like see that? Right there you can just wipe off. Right there you can wipe off. Like even the pressure washer is not getting in these little grooves. So I'm gonna have to do it with a Brillo pad. So I will see you in 8 hours. I gotta go change. I'm like soaking wet. I'm gonna end up getting sick and then I'm not gonna know if it's COVID or not. So I will see you in a second, your world. It'll be tomorrow, mine. Alright, I lied. I ended up staying here and cleaning it up. That's as good as it's gonna get. I got most of the paint off inside the bell housing. It was just driving me nuts because there's pieces of clutch and grease all around this. I just took the pressure washer to it and blew everything off until I got down to bare metal. But I'm not gonna sit here and completely take all this paint off. I don't know, I might tape it up and paint it though. Even though I said like 3 times I wasn't going to. I don't know, we'll see how much grease is still on it tomorrow once it dries. I took a Brillo pad inside of all these little veins and everything. So there really shouldn't be that much grease or oil or anything on there. Should just be this ugly paint, which once it dries, I don't know, I might leave it the way it is. This is the same color that they painted the intake runners with. It's just that cheap paint that's literally flaking off. Which if I'm gonna paint it, I'm gonna have to sand it and get all this shit paint off. I don't know what I'm gonna do. This might be the end of the video if it is. I'll see you in the next one. Leave it down in the comments. You guys think I should paint this?
Willing to die for this shit. I'm ready to flip and end up in prison the rest of my life for this shit. So my mama ain't want me, she got an abortion, I end up surviving this shit. And if I want a son, I ain't got the money, I'll probably be robbing this shit. Don't know how much I cry for this shit.